All right. Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Baseline Scoop. I'm your host, Zach Ciavolella, here with, as always, my co host, Justin Crosby, and a few other guests. But before we get to them, and we will, Justin, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Good. Yeah, we got a big, exciting show today. A lot of moving parts, and we're going to kind of take it one step at a time. Dream big and either fly too close to the sun or really pull something off. So, as you can all see, those listening can't, but those watching along can see we have a lot of guests today. So I'm just going to go right through one by one and we'll just get hear a little bit from each guest and get an idea who they are, what they do, where to find their work, everything such as that. So first and foremost, of course, is our lead Sixers writer for PSN, Mr. Sean Bernard. Sean, how you doing today?
Doing good. I'm excited. Draft season is my favorite time of the year for sure. So, yeah, I'm excited to jump in. I'll be representing the Thunder, the Cavs, the Nuggets, and the Clippers today. So excited to see what I can do with those franchises.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So before we even go further into who we have, we should probably go into what we're actually doing. And today we're actually doing a live mock draft. Okay, so this is a big old, not just a mock draft, but almost like a Model UN type. It's probably going to be a catastrophe, but there's going to be a lot of trades. There's a lot of movement. Okay, this is everything. This is to simulate the draft night experience, at least the first round, but on steroids, basically. So that's kind of what we're looking to do here tonight. So, as Sean said, he's representing Oklahoma City, the Denver Nuggets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the LA Clippers. So, I myself will be, and this was completely fair how this was decided. I will be repping the Philadelphia 76ers, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Charlotte Hornets. My man Justin, of course, he will have the Milwaukee Bucks, the Dallas Mavericks, the Chicago Bulls, and the Toronto Raptors. So, one thing I want to go over, every team's in this. Even if they don't have a pick, they can trade back in and get a pick. So, after we have Sean Bernard, why don't we throw it over to let's throw it over to my man AB. AB, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Man, I'm just happy to be here. Y'all already know it's AB, Philly Sports Network, Open Gym, NBA mock draft tonight. I'm just ecstatic and ready to go, man. Ready to see what happens during this draft. I'm excited to see what people thought up because I have quite a few that I might throw it out of the box a little bit here.
Yeah, AB's been holding court, fielding calls already before the event, as a lot of us have, And one extra thing that we're going to do after this is all over is we're going to set up, additions, subtractions from teams, and kind of go with a general grading for everybody. But AB, he's actually going to be representing the Boston Celtics, the San Antonio Spurs, the Sacramento Kings with the fourth pick, and the Brooklyn Nets. So that's going to be AB tonight.
Yep.
So why don't we go over to Mr. Trey BPSN? Trey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm just excited to, you know, get some new trades out there. Maybe revamp some of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of opportunities. So, especially with some of the teams that Trey has, a lot of potential movement with these teams: the New Orleans Pelicans, the Houston Rockets, the New York Knicks, and the Los Angeles Lakers. So, definitely a lot that can be done there. We'll turn it over now to, of course, our own Slim Shady. That's one. Donnie Shay, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Good to be here and nice to see you all. But I have the Pistons, the Wizards, the Timberwolves, and Phoenix for this draft. So
Yeah, so a lot of opportunity once again. So we're really excited to see what those teams do. Then we have our newest Sixers writer. That's Mister Andy Quach. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. Like Zach said, I am new to PSN. I've got a couple pieces up there. I will also be representing the Portland Trailblazers, and you can read about my Trailblazers work at Rip City Project. I also have a Blazers podcast called The Trail Babblers. I will also be representing the Grizzlies, the Pacers, and the Jazz, and we're just excited to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, we have a very special guest from outside the PSN family, but someone who puts out a lot of special work, right? So you may have heard of the man, the myth, the draft scouting legend that is Mr. Crockpot. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. I definitely did not deserve that introduction. You're too kind. I'm just honored to join, man. This is Christmas. This is Christmas. It's one of my favorite times of the year, whether it's the NFL draft or the NBA draft. I'm excited for Thursday. I'm excited for tonight. I've got the Orlando Magic. I have the Miami Heat, and I've got the Golden State Warriors. So you're going to hear from me early on, and then you're probably not going to see me for a while. But I'm here, and I'm having a blast, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Happy to have you. Yeah, we gave you the early bird special, and then you got the late night reps going on. So it's going to be exciting. So we do have a few trades that have been announced already. We'll go over. I think we'll go over them as they come, basically in the draft order. So because again, keep the focal is on the draft, right? So that's the reason for the season. That's why we're all here. And while these trades are exciting and affect the draft, we want to make sure that we get started and that we get started and find out who this number one pick is. Because I know that there's already been some poll action on Twitter, trying to gauge who the Orlando Magic should take over with number one. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. And Chris, you are on the clock with the Orlando Magic.
I honestly hated learning that I had the number one pick. Absolutely hate this spot. It is. I've been back and forth on this selection. You look at the Magic, 29th in the league in offense, second worst offensive rating in the league, almost dead last, right? Above OKC. You look at their 3-point shooting. It is god awful, and two of the three top 3-point shooters are likely heading out in free agency. Defensively, they were 25th in defending the three, 23rd in deflections per game, second worst in points off turnovers. This team has a lot of needs, and obviously we're circling around two guys. But the one guy I am making this selection is Jabari Smith, and it's not an easy choice at all. But I'm going Jabari Smith here with the Orlando Magic. Obviously a great offensive skill set, a great shooter. He's going to help them be more versatile defensively. He's not a go-to scorer, no doubt. He's got to expand his array of moves offensively, no doubt. But I just think the probabilities of this guy reaching his ceiling is just far more greater than Chet Holmgren. It probably means that we're moving on from Jonathan Isaac, but let's be honest, the dude hasn't made or attempted a 3-point shot since February. And I think his floor spacing alone is incredibly good. And I'm a little biased towards 3-and-Ds. I love my two-way guys, and Jabari Smith is my number one selection.
Yeah, not an easy choice, but I think safe to say a good choice. I think anyone in these the top three, you kind of can't lose almost in a sense. You can make arguments for one player or another. Personally, I'm myself, I'm a fan of Paolo Banchero. It's a little bit of a Duke bias showing right there, but also at the same time, there's just benefits to everybody. There's guys who seem to have that it factor, guys who have that really just that skill set that you're looking for, like you said, Chris, kind of like a Jabari Smith, that 3-and-D archetype. And then there's guys like Chet Holmgren, and it's the unicorn factor. So, like you said, not an easy choice, but definitely a good choice there. So Jabari Smith, number one overall to the Orlando Magic. That means now the Oklahoma City Thunder are on the clock, and that is Mr. Sean Bernard with the pick from OKC.
Yeah, so for the OKC Thunder, obviously we know the state of the franchise that is still a million picks on the way and still pretty early in the rebuilding process. So I think the decision making is pretty simple. You take the guy with the biggest upside, and that's pretty clearly to me is Chet Holmgren. That's the guy I personally believe way more than I think the general consensus. Average 14.2 points, 9.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 3.7 blocks per game. Shot 39.2% from three in his sole season at Gonzaga. He's a guy I think that people are too weirded out by just how he looks. I think there's too much paid attention to the frame. Obviously, he needs to gain weight. Obviously, he's a very unique looking guy, but he can straight up play basketball. And I think he's a guy who doesn't get enough credit for the toughness he has, the way he competes. Shot 60% from the field, super efficient. He can handle the ball. He can shot create. He can pretty much do it all. And a guy that I think that if you give him the proper timeline to develop, you allow him to work on his body, gain some weight. I don't ever think he's going to be a guy that is like packing on the pounds or muscling guys off the ball by any means, but his defensive instincts are just off the charts. The way he gets in passing lanes, the way he blocks shots, his 7'6" wingspan. At the bare minimum, to me, he's a guy who is a high-end role player who's going to make an impact. At the minimum, I think he's a force on the defensive end, and I think he's a fantastic piece for the Thunder. For me, I personally evaluate Holmgren as the top prospect, and I'm super hyped to grab him with the second pick.
Yeah, like I said, you really can't go wrong either way. And I would say that Chet Holmgren really screams OKC pick, and definitely a good selection there for the Thunder. So moving on, we have Mr. Oh, who do we have again? Oh, it's Trey. That's right. That's right. I don't know why I keep thinking AB. This is the second time now I thought AB had the Rockets pick, and I'm trying to make a deal with AB, thinking he's the Rockets. But Trey has the 3rd overall pick. So Trey, why don't you? And again, you have time to make the decision if you're not set up yet. Again, this seems like a 3-player draft, so I kind of have a feeling that you're a little set here, Trey. But who do you got the Rockets taking?
So the biggest thing, like in my head here, was I'm gonna get one of the 3 guys. It's kind of like what the Knicks had with when they got RJ Barrett after John Zion went by. And so obviously I'm gonna sit tight. I'm gonna take Paolo Banchero out of Duke. The guy averaged was it 17-8, 17-9, somewhere in there, 17-8, I feel like. And I really liked his offensive game, but what I was most impressed with from him this season was his passing ability. And just like the idea of like Sengun and Paolo Banchero down there kicking it out to KPJ and Jalen Green is just like, offensively, it makes my mouth water. Defensively, it makes me terrified. So I think it's just going to be a solid pick for the Houston Rockets here.
Yeah, Trey, I do definitely think that's a good pick. I mean, like you said, a lot of people say it's a 3-player draft, but he looks really like super NBA ready as far as his offensive game. So definitely, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, and Paolo Banchero is officially off the board to Houston. Everything that we're hearing is, of course, Houston has fallen in love with him. Rumor has it there's a late push for Banchero. Actually, it was the Vegas numbers, I think, that really went up for Banchero. But this seems to be new trade coming through. This seems to be the most, I would say. I'm looking over this trade. We're gonna have a conversation. I'm working as NBA commissioner too, so we're gonna go over this trade. I think we're gonna talk about this one a little bit. But yeah, no, Banchero to the Rockets, I think makes perfect sense. Despite what Vegas is saying, I think that's clearly the way this draft's gonna fall. So, we'll this is actually now the perfect time to talk about this trade because this trade actually involves the number 4 overall pick. So just across my desk has come this offer. So the proposed trade, okay, is that the Sacramento Kings will be trading the number 4 overall pick, Rashawn Holmes, Harrison Barnes, and Justin Holiday for Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, a 2024 first, and a 2026 first. What are the protections on this one?
Unprotected.
Unprotected. Okay. So unprotected Raptors pick. Well, the Raptors are going to be going up eventually. They got Scotty Barnes last year. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that would mean that the Toronto Raptors are now on the board at number 4. So we're going to be going over instead, not AB, but we're going to be going over to Justin. Justin, who are the Raptors taking at 4 overall?
So at 4 overall, the Raptors are going to take Jaden Ivey.
Jaden Ivey.
So you may be saying, "Oh, it's a reach," but okay. So Fred VanVleet is just he's wore his time in Toronto. You can send him to Sacramento. Along with OG, they want to win now. They need some more veteran leadership over there. You could definitely play Van Fleet with Fox, because Van Fleet is a knockdown shooter. And then you get OG, that 3D guy. For Toronto, first you get back starting caliber center and Rashawn Holmes, who is way better than Kim Birch, who started for a bunch of games for them. And then you get Harrison Barnes, who fits that positional role, that 6'7", 6'8" that Toronto likes. And then Justin Holiday, just a 3-and-D guy, throw into the trade. But then the prize is Ivy. He can grow along with Scotty Barnes. Ivy averaged in the second year, he averaged 17 points per game, almost 18 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I think he will fit well with the Raptors. Athleticism is out, off the charts. He can share majority of the playmaking duties with Scotty Barnes, because Scotty Barnes developed as a playmaker as the season went over. And then you kind of toe that line of, having some youth and trying to build for the future, and as well as maybe not necessarily tanking, but, we already saw what that current roster would do, and that was they really fought to get to that 5 seed, where for the majority of the season, they were beginning of the season, they were bad. They went on a nice run at the end, but, you toe that line, but you're still able to get better and get younger, and get a future star.
And if I
Absolutely,
could just
absolutely.
add, just to show the other side of this, as far as what he's looking for. And Justin named a few of the things. I mean, last year we seen the attendance in in Sacramento during some of those games. We seen how empty those arenas are. And then also just reading up on things. The GM is in his last year of his contract. Anything short of obviously making the playoff run, obviously he's not back. So I look at it as, putting that GM hat on. Hey, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out swinging, essentially. So like you said, you get Van Fleet coming in, gives you a 3-point threat. Obviously with like someone like Buddy Hield leaving, like you said, can play off ball, come off screens, catch and shoot. You losing Harrison Barnes, but you get OG, who's a great good wing defender who could defend literally all 5 positions, essentially, like that, even in a small ball situation, who's improved also as well, shooting the 3. As Sixers fans, we know how that turned out, seeing OG come down the court many times. And then, like you said earlier, just the veteran leadership. It's a lot of young guards, especially there. You still got Davion Mitchell, you still have De'Aaron Fox, and then Sabonis is still there as well. So you still have someone comparable with at a big. Obviously the center position still have to be addressed, but I feel like it's more of a push to put butts in the seats, obviously, and finally, even if it's not actually winning the championship, at least contend or have a chance to actually make a playoffs and make a run.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to get Fred VanVleet as well, I mean, that's about
Right.
as puts butt in seats as you can be. So that definitely accomplishes that for Sacramento. It's I think overall it's definitely good value for Sacramento there. Being able to bring in those guys and future picks.
The future picks, yeah.
I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad one bit. So let's see here. Up next is the Detroit Pistons, who this is Donnie's first pick here. So Donnie, who is Detroit taking?
Yeah, I'm just getting some offers, but I think I'm gonna stand.
And feel
pat.
free to take your time to scan through those offers. I mean, because you do have time on the clock, so that's definitely
Feel free
something
to
that
think
can
out
be
loud.
negotiated around. Oh, absolutely. Let's get some open lines of communication.
You just let me know. You just let me know.
Teams
okay?
aren't just sending emails, they're making calls, So, like, have you watched Draft Day? Like, let's get on the phone, people. So,
Show the war
Bonnie, who
room.
are you fielding calls with?
No, I'm definitely turning down an overpay, but I'm just gonna stay pat and take Benedict Mathurin. He's a 20-year-old 2-guard from Arizona.
Okay.
He's 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan and averaged nearly 18 points a game, over 5 rebounds, and over 2 assists a game. And he shot 36.9% from 3 on over 6 attempts per game last year as a sophomore. And he was named Pac-12 Player of the Year. And
Okay.
the rationale behind this is just I think he fits well alongside Cade Cunningham, and he can create for himself and projects as a decent defender. And I think that backcourt of Cunningham and Mathurin would be extremely versatile for the next decade.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't traded, Jeremy Grant yet, Keegan Murray's a little bit of a risk there. Shaden Sharp has been said to be a risk by a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Time will tell. To me, he just seems confident, and you kind of want a shooting guard to be confident. But I gotta say, a win now move from Detroit. I wasn't expecting it, but I respect it, and I think it's a smart move there. Definitely a guy who's going to work well with Cade. So Detroit taking Benedict Mathurin, number 5 overall. This would then bring up Mr. Andy with the Indiana Pacers. So Andy, with the 6th pick, what are the Pacers going to do? Are they going to keep it? Are they going to trade it? What are we doing?
Oh, we're keeping it. I think the Pacers are excited to get Shaden Sharp here.
Oh,
They already got a young guard cornerstone in Tyrese Halliburton. The one knock on him is that he might not have that killer instinct as a number 1 scorer. And right here, the Pacers can grab someone who can fill that need with Shaden Sharp, give them one of the most athletic, exciting young backcourts in the league, and kind of a steal, even though people are trying to kind of going the other way on Sharp lately from his interviews. But the talent's there. Number 1 recruit out of high school, can't pass on him.
Absolutely. Hear you there. So this brings us to number 7, which normally would be the Portland Trailblazers, except before tonight's affairs, there was a deal struck between the Portland Trailblazers and the Charlotte Hornets, as the Hornets will be acquiring the 7th overall pick for number 15 and 1 Kelly Oubre. So now I myself with the Charlotte Hornets am on the board. And I'm looking at this board, and I kind of like how this fell for Charlotte. I'm not going to lie. I'm a pretty big fan of this. So what I'm actually going to do while I'm looking through this, and I'm looking through what prospect I may be interested to take, I do want to say number 7, and no trade, not for Julius Randle. Number 7 may be available for the right price. So, if anyone, buzz right in, give me a ring. If anyone's interested in number 7, still got Keegan Murray on the board, still got AJ Griffin. Why don't we say we'll give that till we will go by 8:35 or until I say so if it's sooner. Yep, 1 minute. Trey, what I said on the phone, I did not mean literally. All right, so Trey has literally called me to negotiate a trade. So Trey, what are we looking at here?
I got a Cam Reddish and 11 swap for 7.
It's a quick no, but it's a do I want something else? So from the New York Knicks, interested in 7, definitely I don't want Julius Randle in Charlotte. That's an easy no-brainer there. But what I would say, if you were to do, let's get this cooking real fast. I'm using the lovely Fanspo trade machine. What's your interest in taking Gordon Hayward back with you?
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay. So if we were to do something in the neighborhood of, say, the number 7 pick and Gordon Hayward for 11, Reddish, Fournier, and Nerlens Noel. How do you say?
I agree to that trade.
Boom.
Absolutely.
All right. That's done. That's a done deal then. Okay. So that would mean that, Trey, you as the New York Knicks are now on the board for the New York Knicks.
And it's a definite no-brainer. This guy played at the University of Iowa. He grew up in Cedar Rapids, which is an hour from my college. I'm going to go ahead and take Keegan Murray out of the University of Iowa. Just elite. Really, he had a great quote that I heard today that was like, I'm a 21-year-old, or I'm an 18-year-old in a 21-year-old's body, because he didn't have like a lot of usage early on. By the time that he got to like college, he wasn't really a star, and then he kind of broke out that sophomore year. That 23 points is hard to pass up.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the top player on the board left over. So a great find for New York. They say he can play the 3. We'll see. We'll see if perhaps Julius Randle does find a new home, but Keegan Murray, definitely a great pick there. So this now brings us to number 8, which I believe is owned again by the Indiana Pacers. Is that correct?
That is correct, from a massive blockbuster trade with the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, I should probably announce that. You're right. That's a really good point. So the reason why it goes to the Pacers is that there was a trade, and he's absolutely right. And the Indiana Pacers have traded Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner for the 8th pick, a 2023 lottery protected first, Jonas Valanciunas, Devontae Graham, Jackson Hayes, Trey Murphy III, and Garrett Temple. So an absolutely huge blockbuster. So that is the reason why Indiana now picks again at 8. Keegan Murray has been a target for a while for Indiana. He is unfortunately off the board. So Andy, who are we going with at number 8?
So I'm actually going to put the 8th pick up for sale real quick while I just quickly run through the reasoning that I made this trade. If anyone wants to drop it in the chat, I'll review it while I'm just going over my mentality.
Sure.
But it's the writing's on the wall that at least Malcolm Brogdon's gone. I think the Pacers are still trying to decide whether or not Miles Turner is young and or good enough to be a part of their new future with Tyrese Halliburton and now also Shaedon Sharpe. But it's pretty clear that the veterans got to go. Zach said Cam Reddish and 11 for 8.
Can't blame a guy for trying.
So that's going to be a quick no also. But yeah, the veterans got to go. The Pacers are getting back some veterans that could be for sale later on mid-season. Jonas Valanciunas could help a team that needs a center. Devontae Graham could help a team that needs outside shooting. They can flip that pretty easily, and they get another lottery pick at number 8, and then another pick that's lottery protected in 2023. That's a pretty good price for two veterans that just came off of injuries. So it seems like the Pacers will make the pick here, and they're going to go with Jalen Duren.
There may be one last minute call here.
Oh yeah,
Andy, if you have a spell. So Charlotte here. What would you think about possibly moving the 8th pick for 11 and let's say PJ Washington?
11 and PJ. You're bringing in the 3rd team, or did you acquire that from the Knicks?
Oh, I'm sorry, Atlanta. I meant I have Atlanta as well. Charlotte here. PJ Washington and an 11 for 8.
PJ Washington. I'm going to have to turn that down.
Oof. Well, yeah. That is officially too rich for Charlotte's blood.
And I think the Pacers are going to go with Jalen Duren here to give themselves a new center to build around with Miles Turner out the door. That gives Tyrese Halliburton and Shaedon Sharpe a legitimate lob threat on offense, someone who's freakishly athletic and can anchor the paint, and they can all grow together and be a new young big 3.
All right. Exciting stuff. So the number 10 overall pick. Oh, no, actually 9. I skipped right over you, AB.
Just forgetting about
it seems like. All right. So I know number 9's been hitting the market lately. Any takers for 9? Are you using 9? What's going on lately?
Nothing just yet. I'm looking at a few that came across, but nothing really.
So what if I were to tell you that the Atlanta Hawks are potentially interested in number 9?
I did speak to their GM earlier today. We had a few conversations. So just a little background on this. Once Sharpe went off the board, I was going to, do a non-spur or pop thing, playing it safe and just go with the potential of possibly moving up and getting him. But since that fell through, and I did hear some rumblings and some calls about a John Collins trade. But after considering some things and seeing who's left on the board, I think the Spurs are going to stay with their pick essentially like that. And it looks like, just looking at who's out there, it look like, and it's basically the same player. I look like they are. So I'm gonna say the Spurs going to take with the 9th pick, Tari Eason.
Tari Eason going top 10. All right, look at that. Big Tari Eason guy over here. Happy to see him go to the Spurs. Happy to see him go in the top 10. Tari Eason, just a great two-way player, can play either forward spot. So just a great pick for San Antonio. Okay.
Well, I'm
That
done here.
brings us
Good night, guys.
So that brings us over to the Washington Wizards, right? So Washington, that is going to be Donnie. Back to Donnie. All right, Donnie, what's going on with 10? Is 10 for sale? Is a pick being made? What are we thinking with number 10? Donnie, I think you're on mute there.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Trey, is 12 and Reddish available for 10?
I no longer have possession of Reddish.
Oh, gotcha. Missed that.
Oh, I have Reddish. Okay, so let's talk this out real quick. Actually, so let's see. Charlotte has Reddish, and we also have let's see what we have. 13. How about 13 in Reddish for 10?
Yeah, I'd do it.
13 in Reddish for 10. Okay, so that means the Charlotte Hornets now have both 10 and 11. Kind of really working out for Charlotte here. Let's take a look here. So the Charlotte Hornets, this is a no-brainer in my mind. I wanted this guy actually back at 7. Had a feeling he'd be available a little bit later on. So the Charlotte Hornets will absolutely be drafting AJ Griffin out of Duke, the perfect small forward for what they're trying to do out there. Athletic, three-point shooter. You hope the health stays. You hope you can see a little more explosiveness return. But definitely the pick to Charlotte there, not a problem. And so I'm rushing through this because I already know who I'm getting on both these guys. So I'm sorry, everyone. None of these picks are available. Okay. The other guy who absolutely at this point need to get in Charlotte, that's going to be Jeremy Sochan, who is now off the board. Right, lengthy, just a defensive monster. I mean, we're talking about Ben Simmons without the attitude potentially. So to get a guy like this running out there with LaMelo Ball and hopefully with Miles Bridges, if they decide that they want to pay him this summer, it's definitely a no-brainer. Obviously, center's still a need for Charlotte, but despite how hard they've made it look, it's really not that hard to get a starting center in the NBA these days. So Jeremy Sochan is the pick going to Charlotte. So this brings us to 11. I'm sorry, now 12, which is now back to Donnie.
Did I trade for 13?
Yeah, 12 still me with the Thunder.
That's right. Oklahoma City's back on. So, Sean, with 12, what's Oklahoma City doing? Here are some of the players that are off the board. And then
I battled a little bit
on the
here.
board.
I battled a little bit here, but I think I'm pretty confidently going with Dyson Daniels as the pick. I think the Thunder are going to be interested in keeping this pick as well. I like Daniels a lot. I mean, G League Ignite guy, 19 years old, averaged 11.6 points, 6.6 rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds a game. He's got a super high motor, 4.8 assists, 2.0 steals. The shooting are the biggest concerns. He was only a 30% shooter from 3, 53% from the free throw line. However, the G League rules, I think, skew the free throw numbers a little bit. 45% from the field. He's a very high IQ player, very versatile on who he can guard positionally. He can straight up clamp on defense. Defensively is where he really stands out, and he's got a little LaMelo Ball in him too, where he's a guy that will get the rebound, push it on a full court pass. I think he's a nice guy that you can add to the young core. He can fit pretty much wherever you need him to, and I think he's a great guy to have as like a connecting piece on the future that they are building.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, talent acquisition is the game. And they know that very well. So adding a guy like Daniels, who's I've seen go as high as I've even seen go as high as 6 in mock drafts. Definitely somebody to check out there. Just sending out a trade here real quick. And so now this brings us to Donnie at 13. Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe so. So I was targeting Dyson Daniels or Johnny Davis at 10, and I felt like one of them would fall. So that's the rationale behind the trade back. And so for Washington, I'm going to select Johnny Davis, a guard from Washington. He's 20 years old, 6'6", with a 6'8.5" wingspan. He's a mid-range bucket getter. He doesn't have much NBA range yet from 3, but he's an above-average rebounder. He averaged 19.7 points, 8.2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.2 steals per game, while shooting 30.6% from 3 on 3.9 attempts a game. And he was named Big Ten Player of the Year and First Team All-America. And the reasoning behind this is I think he fits alongside Bradley Beal. And if Beal were to leave Washington, he could theoretically take over the backcourt. And Washington seems to be deep at forward and in need of some guard depth.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of uncertainty right now going on in Washington, so it's definitely something that there is the potential for. Drafting for a guard definitely makes a lot of sense for Washington. So this brings us now to the 14th pick. The Cleveland Cavaliers are finally seeing some action. So Cleveland, what are we doing?
We are in discussions with the New York Knicks right now.
Interesting. Do we want to wiretap into those discussions?
Yeah. So I'm not loving the offer on the board right now. I need a little more. We're talking about the proposal in front of me is Gordon Hayward and Gordon Hayward for the 14th pick and Kevin Love, which I don't think I can quite get on board with. If the Knicks GM would like to pitch in a little bit, maybe I think I would need at least a future first in that as well. I do think the Cavs would be open to moving this pick.
Mm-hmm. I'd definitely be willing to throwing in a lottery protected that would split into 2 seconds if it didn't convey in 2025.
Okay. So I would be walking with Gordon Hayward, one future first. I don't know. That still seems steep. If there's what are the next second round picks looking like this year?
That's a great question. I wasn't aware.
Okay.
So we have seconds that are available to be traded, even though we're only doing the first round.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Right.
It's looking like they don't have anything.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, had to load the screen. It said no.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like the Cavs will not be open for business yet. We're going to take Malachi Branham. Guy I like a lot. Shooting guard out of Ohio State. 6'5", 18 years old. A guy that really wasn't expected to be a one and done guy. A guy that was really looked at as like a little bit more of a long-term player, but just kind of outplayed himself at Ohio State. 49.8% from the field, shot 41.6% from 3. He's got a very polished game, very cool, calm, and collected, plays at his own pace, gets to his spots. I think he's an interesting guy to add to this Cavs core. Obviously, they're so jumbo-sized. I think this will be a nice kind of piece off the bench who can go get a bucket when they need. I think he's a guy that just a high floor, and I still think the ceiling is there for him to grow. So I think he's a good addition to the Cavs.
Yeah, I think with Branham, you're looking at a Karis LeVert type player, but hopefully one who can be a little bit healthier, and certainly a lot cheaper as well. So, there's already been, not anything official, but potential rumblings of moving LeVert again. If things don't work out, and again, he can't bet on his health. So Malachi Branham definitely actually makes a lot of sense for Cleveland. This brings us now to 15, which would be the Portland Trailblazers. So, Andy, what's going on with 15?
With 15, okay. So after acquiring Kelly Oubre with trading down from 7, they've kind of shored up that forward depth that Portland desperately needs. So they've got a nice little wing rotation now of Oubre, Josh Hart, Nazir Little, but they need a little bit more size and some upside, frankly. And at this point in the big board, Portland is going to go with Ousmane Dieng, a little bit of a project, but someone who in a year or two could ultimately help take a Damian Lillard-led team over the hump, and kind of a steal at 15, if I do say so myself.
Did Stevie Cousins tell you to make that pick?
Stevie Cousins did not tell me to make that pick. I'm not sure who Stevie Cousins is, but
He
likes...
was the old Rip City. He was the old Rip City.
Stevie Cousins.
Excuse me.
Do you pronounce it Cousins? I don't know.
I don't
never.
know.
I should have got the New Zealand connection there.
No, great pick though for Portland. Uber athletic, great length. Somebody who's gonna have to kind of grow into things, but definitely a great value pick there at 15. So this now brings us to 16. The Atlanta Hawks, who have been dreading this pick as they continue to try and shop John Collins. So while we take a little bit, just to kind of go over some information here, is anybody interested in John Collins? 16 is in play as well. Not taking back a scrub. It needs to be a legitimate deal, but John Collins is very firmly on the trade block. What do we have for Atlanta? Anybody?
The Knicks would trade Gordon Hayward to Atlanta for John Collins in 16.
I'm sorry, you said Gordon Hayward and John Collins for 16?
You would get Gordon Hayward. I would get John Collins in 16.
Okay. So again, I'd just like to clarify the rules of said offers. Realistic, legitimate things coming back. I do not consider personally, and this being Charlotte who traded him earlier, Gordon Hayward as a plus value. So if anyone's interested in John Collins, perhaps the Phoenix Suns, who I heard are interested in trading back into the first round, perhaps for a deal around DeAndre Ayton, or if Sacramento is pretty much tapped out. You know what, Atlanta, we're probably going to hold on to Collins until after the draft. Try and move him in future picks before the season.
I have a potential deal for you.
All right.
So this is coming from a pre-draft trade in which the Jazz now own a lot of assets from Chicago in a Rudy Gobert move. Okay. But we're willing to reroute Atlanta, Vucevic, Kobe White, the 18th pick for John Collins, and a 2027 first from Chicago for John Collins and your 16th pick.
I'm not too sure what Vucevic does for Atlanta if they have Clint Capella, who is on very good terms with Trae Young.
You can flip Capella.
Well, but Trae Young doesn't want to flip Capella, and for some reason we want to keep Trae Young happy. So we're gonna be okay on any deal involving an older big center. Now, a guy like DeAndre Ayton, who we had mentioned earlier, DeAndre Ayton himself called himself a power forward, so we'd be willing to see how things like that shake out. But I think we're going to be holding on to Capella, at least if Vucevic is the other center mentioned. So unless there's any other calls coming through, it looks as though the Charlotte Hornets are going to be the Atlanta Hawks are going to be selecting Ochai Agbaji with the 16th overall pick. Got to get those two-way wings. They're few and far between. This leaves the door open. Agbaji can actually play the 2 or the 3. If he plays the 3, you move Hunter to the 4, and then you ship John Collins out of town eventually. So Agbaji is now off the board. He is an Atlanta Hawk. And for Crowder, Dario, Shamit campaign. Okay. All right. Well, so we have Agbaji going 16 to the Hawks. This brings up 17. 17 would be the Houston Rockets. So this brings us to Trey, who I now remember owns the Rockets. Trey, what are we looking at with 17? Are we looking to deal the pick? Do we have enough picks in Houston? Are we looking to make the pick? What do we think?
So I have a couple options I can go down, but as I choose, I would like to say it is up for sale right now if anyone wants to try to jump in here at 17. There's a couple different options I'm looking at who all intrigue me, but I think I could get them with a later pick.
Yeah, and KJ Martin is in fact available. Is that correct?
KJ Martin's wants out, and we're inclined to let him do what he wants.
This the Rockets? Wait,
Yep.
what team is this? Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philadelphia thought about being interested before they saw that a point guard and a center were the top two options on the draft board. And they are not interested.
Fair. If that's everything,
All right.
Ty Washington is
Ty
the
Washington.
definite pick. Yes. Putting him in there with
All
Paulo, putting him in up there with Alperen and Jalen. And KPJ. We'll see if either him or Jalen Green can start at the 3. But it's just a fun team. It's a good young team with a lot of scoring, which is what they need right now.
Absolutely. So with the 17th pick, the Houston Rockets take Ty Washington Jr. out of Kentucky. This would bring us to the 18th pick, which I believe now is the Utah Jazz. Is that correct, Utah?
Correct. Would you like me to run down the full details of the trade that brought him in?
You know what, Utah? Why don't you go ahead and do that so I save my voice a little bit?
Okay. So from Chicago is Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, this 18th overall pick, and a future 2027 first-round pick in exchange for Rudy Gobert, Royce O'Neal, and a 2025 second-rounder. So Utah
that's
here,
a blockbuster right there.
Yep. And Utah here is going with a soft retool, going with youth around Donovan Mitchell here. And now that the Stifle Tower is out of Salt Lake City, they're going to need a new anchor. That gives them Mark Williams at 18th.
That is great value. Great value right there. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, you can recoup the relationship with Donovan Mitchell. If not, Atlanta is always here, Andy. Always here.
I think he'll be happy with his new core of him, Patrick Williams, and Mark Williams.
Oh, I just had another trade come across my desk, and we will come to that in just a moment here. But yeah, no, I think Utah is going to be a lot happier with that extra cap space and players they got back, and Mark Williams, who I believe is absolutely going to be a player and can fill in a lot of the Rudy Gobert role, maybe not to the degree, but then again, you don't need to pay a center like that who is great at what he does, but is limited in a lot of other areas. Unless you're a Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic type center, there's really just no reason to pay a center like that. So that's all we have there for Utah at 18. 19 is now up, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this would be Donnie's territory, I believe.
Oh yeah. Minnesota is ready to select Nikola Jovic, forward from Mega Basket, formerly Mega Lex in Serbia. He's 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan at 19 years old. He averaged 12 points, 4.8 boards, 3.6 assists while shooting 31.5% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. And he was named the 2022 Adriatic League top prospect, which is given to the top player 22 years old or younger. And the rationale behind this pick, Minnesota would benefit from having a floor spacer to create space for Towns and Anthony Edwards to work. And he projects as a ball-moving shooter, and he has the size to shoot over defenders who are closing out.
Yeah, I think Jovic is a great pick to Minnesota right there to the Timberwolves. I couldn't help but laugh not about Jovic, because I think that he's a fantastic pick there. I just saw the LA Lakers, of course, have made it known that Talen Horton-Tucker is available for a first-round pick. So that just brought a smile to my face there. So number 19 is in the books. We're moving on to number 20. Okay, so we are back to San Antonio. AB, talk to us a little bit. What are the Spurs looking to do here?
20? Oh, snap. You know what? Am I at 20? Oh man, okay.
That's how fast that draft creeps up.
Sheesh. All right. Give me a second here. For 20. What? I'm getting some trade offers coming through right now. Hold on. Look like THT for 20. Boy, this snuck up on me. So number 20, who we have left on the board here? We took Tari Eason, 20. We got a couple people here. Man. So just looking at what fourth overall. Wait, did I read this? I swore the Spurs had the 25th pick. Maybe I read this wrong. Or did
Yeah,
I?
3 picks with San Antonio.
Oh my lord, I missed that one. Okay, you're right. that's what it was. I'm already at 25th. Okay, damn. All right. Well, since who we got left on the board? I'm sorry. Show me who was picked, rather, I should say. That's off, I should say. If you can show that real
So these are the players that are off the board.
Jamari Chet, Pablo. Okay, Sheldon. All right, I would say this then. Is anyone intrigued
Are we
with
shopping
the
20?
20th? Yeah, you're shopping 20. Let's see what we got out here. Is anyone invested in the number 20 pick looking to move up? That's not named Taylor Horton.
The Miami Heat would like to trade up.
Miami Heat.
Miami Heat looking to trade up. Okay, sounds like they got their guy.
Miami, but we don't really have that much to give. We've got a 2024 first round pick.
Okay. Oh, that's it.
That's pretty good.
So the 24 wouldn't be able to be used with the step-in rule, but the 2023 after the picks are selected would be able to be used. So you could go 2023 or your next one is 2027.
Would you do this pick for 27 and 2023?
And I got 2024, 2026. First rounder, you know what? I don't have anything else coming through. I'm just checking my messages. Give me a second. Let me look at these last remaining papers. So for the 20th pick, we do need to send him. I like we can go grab somebody like that. You know what? I'll do that. Yeah. I'll take that first round pick. Yep. Going to the future.
All right. So that means that the Miami Heat are now on the board. Philadelphia 76ers sweating a little bit because we think that Chris just hopped us for the guy that we want. Why don't you tell us who you take it at 20?
You look at the Miami Heat, Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, probably going to be gone. Caleb Martin's a restricted free agent, shot well from last year. But what the Miami Heat need is a versatile defender, a guy can handle the ball, maybe a guy that, can be a guard, handle the ball with Kyle Lowry kind of not having much left in the tank here. Jimmy Butler's 32 years old. This guy's not a floor general, but he's a great passer. He is my number 2 favorite prospect in the draft for the Sixers. I'm going Dalen Terry for the Miami Heat. I think he's got everything that Heat culture is looking for, and I think he would be a sensational pick. And I think it would make an impact year one. I love Dalen Terry.
Wow, trading up for Dalen Terry at 20. That is definitely something that could happen this season, just with how Dalen Terry is being talked about. They say he's a jump shot away from being a lottery pick, so definitely there at 20. That is a good value for the Miami Heat. Philadelphia is fuming. All right, so 21. Now, there has been a trade with the 21st overall pick. Okay, the 21st overall pick has been traded from the Denver Nuggets to the Phoenix Suns. The Suns will be receiving Jay Crowder and Landry Shamet in exchange for Sean or Donnie. What's the year on the second?
This current one, right, Donnie? No.
Okay, so a 2022 second, it looks like. All right, so Jay Crowder, Landry Shamet, a 2022 second round pick, and Denver is sending over Jeff Green Denver is sending over Jeff Green and the 21st overall pick. So Donnie, back on the board, who's Phoenix looking to take at 21?
Sorry, I was muted. But we Phoenix traded up to select. Let's see here, to select Jalen Williams, a small forward from Santa Clara. He was a junior, 21 years old.
Not looking great for Philadelphia.
6'6", with a 7'2" wingspan. And he's known for his passing, and he's not the best rebounder, but with trading away Crowder, this sort of fills that void, and just gets about 10 years younger.
All right. Wow, that is definitely a quality pick there for Phoenix.
Zach,
Now this, yes, Justin. What's going on, Justin?
I just wanted to tell you, I know both your guys are going.
Dude, do not. I'm holding it together as best I can here, right? Like, I'm trying to do my best as Philadelphia not to lose it right now. I may as well announce this now, but the 23rd overall pick is available if anyone is interested in the 23rd overall pick. So feel free to send over some trade proposals. I see that the Warriors are looking to possibly trade up, so keep that in mind as we now turn to the Memphis Grizzlies with the 22nd pick. So, Andy, what are we thinking for Memphis?
So Memphis actually has a pretty complete roster. They're going to be returning a lot of guys, minus maybe Tyus Jones and Kyle Anderson, who are hitting free agency this offseason. But besides that, they have their rotation pretty fleshed out. So we're going to go with an upside pick here. Memphis is going to go with Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame. A big wing, can create his own shot, can get to the rim basically at will. If he can add on a little weight, turn into at least a decent defender, and become a reliable three-point shooter, the sky's the limit for this kid.
All right, absolutely. Yeah, Blake Wesley, definitely a high ceiling prospect. So definitely the kind of guy. Well, we saw Memphis do that just last year with Zaire Williams. Yeah. So we saw him do that just last year. So Blake Wesley, kind of same fold. Definitely something I could see Memphis doing there. So this brings us to 23. Again, 23 is on the table. They have received an offer, and despite the initial laugh in the face, they are considering. Oh, they were considering that one, but they might have moved on to another one that just came across the desk here. Let's take one more look here and see. Chris, how much do you value moving up 4 spots?
I'll give you a second round pick.
Okay, so Chris and I are done talking for the evening. We're going to be looking now here. Let's see. Who owns, let's see, 27 is now San Antonio. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, AB, you got 27?
I'm 27 now.
You made that trade?
Okay. Yeah.
27 in the future?
Yes, yes, gotcha.
So there's that. And then Houston at 26. Is that right, Trey?
Yes.
Okay. And then Andy, 29. What are the Grizzlies thinking? Do they want to move up to 23 by any chance?
29 has been agreed to be traded to the Pelicans for Kira Lewis Jr. as a.
So, yes, that's right. That is right. So Kira Lewis is now a Grizzly, really leaning into that potential. Pelicans, do you have any interest in moving up to 23?
Yeah. What's your offer?
What about a... What would I need in order to get to send you 23 for 29 and a future pick from anyone, yourself, the Bucks, the Lakers, any one of them, just a future first?
I don't know. I don't think we like anyone that desperately to give up another first to move up.
Okay. All right. So we will forget the Pelicans. We're going to throw one last dart at the board here before just making the pick. And we are going to go to
The Lakers added 2 second-round picks and have a couple others that they're willing to throw in here to get this pick from you.
Would you be interested in the Magic 32 and 35?
I am interested in 32 and 35.
I mean, I'm interested as a Sixers fan.
I am very much interested in 32 and 35. Do I want that, or do I want? See, now I'm just looking at the. So the Lakers added 2 second-round picks. You said
The 2023 second-round pick from Chicago and the 2025 Lakers second-round pick, and of course Taylor Horton Tucker.
THJ.
Of course.
Okay. I hate to say it. I think I'm going to take the Lakers deal. Taylor Horton Tucker is coming to Philadelphia. We're going to get those second-round picks. Recoup some second-round picks. I know AB's fuming right now. But and Kispert available. So I'm looking in the wrong chat this entire time, guys. I was looking at the Slack chat instead of the chat over here. So before we do that, let's go. Donnie, for what would it cost me to get KCP and Kispert?
It's from the Sixers, yeah.
Yeah. So 23. Any interest in Furkan Korkmaz?
Well, I think I'd do it for 23 in Korkmaz.
Sure. 23 in Korkmaz for Kispert and okay. Yeah, sorry, Trey. That is by far a better deal.
Yeah, so that's fair. I wouldn't pick my offer.
Yeah. So we have to include Danny Green to make salary work. Is that still cool with you?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so the Sixers are getting Corey Kispert, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, setting out 23, Danny Green and Furkan Korkmaz. So after all that, the Washington Wizards are now on the clock.
Washington, I can give you Taylor Horton Tucker, 2023 second round pick, and the 2025 second round pick for pick 23.
Could you say that again? THT and 2 second
THT, yeah, 2023 second rounder, and then 2025 second rounder.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Houston add some firepower to their wings.
All right. So I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to track all this. So who even just got that pick?
The Lakers.
The Lakers just got that pick. All right, Lakers, you're on the board. Who are you taking?
Okay, we'll take Jaden Hardy still.
All right.
He said that was it regardless.
So we might as well just make that a 3-team trade. But Jaden Hardy goes to the Lakers. Look at that. That's a much better pick than I figured the Lakers will find their way into. But that moves us to 24, Milwaukee Bucks. Hey, Justin, how you doing?
All right, so the way the draft board has played out, I have a couple options.
Bro, if you don't pick this guy that I know you should pick, so help me.
See, okay, so I have my thoughts as the Milwaukee Bucks, how we should build our team. So
okay, walk us through it.
All right, so first, I have a couple options. So the pick is up for sale as well, but I'll give you my thought process on one. We're looking for a guard, right? Because George Hill is old as hell. He's about to get snapped away in dust like Thanos' snap. That's how old he is. Javon Carter, no offensive game whatsoever. Good defensive player, but not here long term. Drew Holiday, of course, great, but he's 32. He'll be around, but you need some more guard help. You got Jordan Nora, who's really a 3, plays a 2. Wes Matthews, I mean, he might be a 6er randomly next year, but I mean, he's getting older. So I'm looking for, and Grayson Allen, of course, who may or may not be suspended for an entire season for kicking somebody in the nuts. So I'm looking for a guard. And there are a couple. The guard that I was actually looking for, who I felt like had some really good
Philadelphia
upside.
here, actually, if you're not looking to draft, but if you're looking to make a trade here.
Okay, what does Philadelphia
Any
offer?
interest in a deal with Philadelphia? So for
Warriors are
Jaden
looking
Springer, for Jaden Springer and Shake Milton, and let's see, how many second round picks do we have to offer? And I got up to 2 second round picks for 24 and the cooked point guard, George Hill, former Sixer George Hill. What do we think?
You're doing this because Shake Milton pulls at my heartstrings.
Listen, Shake Milton, right? Like, you got the length. We've seen the shot; it works. See that game from against LA from 3 years ago. When healthy, very long, athletic, can kind of run the point in a pinch. Jaden Springer, young, bouncy defender.
Hold on, we might have a deal, but I need to confer with my draft team to determine if this if we
I don't like that laugh, AB. Are you part of his draft team?
No.
I don't like that.
No, it was just funny, draft team.
Okay, so if you throw in
Someone watching Lord of the Rings
Matisse
in the background?
Thybulle, would you throw in
I'm sorry,
Matisse
did you say
Thybulle?
throw in Matisse Thybulle?
Do we have a deal?
Whoa. Okay. All right. If you throw in
Don't say Giannis.
No. Throw in. All right, take the second round picks out of it, throw in Pat Connaughton, you got a deal.
Well, Pat is unrestricted free agent, so I can't.
He has a player option, so if he's willing to accept his player option.
No. Okay. Let's back this up. All right, keep the
what
second
about
round
with
picks.
the second round picks? Okay.
Okay. So second round picks, Shake Milton.
Okay.
Jaden Springer.
Okay.
And Isaiah Joe.
For 24?
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Okay.
And then we had to take back George Hill for salary purposes, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so that is done. Philadelphia's back on the board, baby. Right? That's how we do it. Okay. So Philadelphia back on the board. Let's see. Who do we want now? See, now all the power's in our hands because we still got EJ Liddell on the board, Marjon Beauchamp's on the board, Kendall Brown's on the board. Oh boy, there's a lot to do. And we just added 2 wings. Yeah, I gotta go with my boy EJ Liddell here for Philadelphia. EJ Liddell is a Sixer. There's still time to see what happens with Tobias Harris, his future in Philadelphia. George Niang is a free agent after this upcoming season. EJ Liddell, hopefully the next Grant Williams, if he can get the Andy, no one's going to give you a first round pick for Justice Winslow. And we'll see what EJ Liddell can do. But EJ Liddell, you are a Philadelphia 76er. All right, so this now brings us to this has really started to slow down. This is when the real intense negotiations have started happening. AB, we're already back to you at 25.
Already, and I've been tussling, and Julius Randle came across my phone again,
as he tends to do. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of that lately.
I've been doing a lot of looking at the roster of this Spurs roster. Seeing guys, obviously, you got Murray, Vassell, good shooter. What he shot, 30 over 30% from 3. Also got Kendo as well. Another wing, long, can shoot the three. Just got Eason, another that could play this wing, that could play the small forward, power forward position. I feel like I'm gonna stay with that theme, just being real long, being able to defend,
Here he
shoot
comes.
threes. You know it's coming. So with the number 25 pick, I'm going Marjan. For the
Marjan to the
Spurs.
Spurs.
Yes, sir. Defensive upside. I can see him either starting or giving him a spark off the bench because also he's good at creating, getting to the basket. As you know, he's a bucket essentially. Definitely a bit raw, a bit nice. I don't want to say out of control, but out of control at times. But definitely something I feel like in a system with Pop, who runs a more free flowing system. Obviously, predominantly it starts with Murray, but the ball moves essentially like that. We know Spurs basketball; it moves a lot. Getting a lot of wings, getting them running, playing defense, getting up and down the floor, shooting threes. I feel like is the way the Spurs should go. So adding someone like a Marjan that adds the length, wingspan, defensive upside. Doesn't shoot the three well, but definitely has the ability to get better at it. I'm gonna go Marjan for the Spurs, man, and I feel like that should be a solid pick right there with that.
Yeah, I mean that Murray, Vassell, Beauchamp, Eason, Pirtle lineup, like that's a defensive death squad right there. So
Yeah.
look at that. Okay, so Beauchamp goes to the Spurs. No surprise that AB took Beauchamp. That is his draft crush. We move right over to Trey and the Houston Rockets. Trey.
Yep.
What's Houston doing?
They were actually hoping that he did not get drafted one pick earlier than he did. So
that's how it crumbles.
There's another option, but we are more open to trading 26 now. I almost decided to trade for Julius Randle and then realized I didn't want to. So
I think that a lot of teams did that. Yeah. So
yeah.
Looking around, if anyone's interested in 26, other than the Knicks, from the sound of it.
Trey, who are you again? I'm sorry.
I'm the Houston Rockets right now.
All right. Let me see. For the 26th pick,
we will accept Giannis.
For the 26th pick,
Giannis for John Wall is the trade that NBA fans need to happen.
Would you take? Can you scroll down to the current roster, Zach? I'm sorry.
Current roster? Yeah, I got you.
This is the Milwaukee Bucks. All right. Would
Kenny Martin Jr. is available.
He's available.
Would you be willing to swap? Would you be willing to swap Jordan Nora and 2 seconds that are coming from Philadelphia for Kenya Martin?
Jordan Springer or Jordan Nora?
Jordan Nora.
So Jordan Nora actually is restricted free agent.
Oh, he is? Okay.
With no option, yeah.
Okay, all right. I thought he was on the second. Okay. Well,
you can reroute Jaden Springer if you want.
Yeah, let's say. Would you want to reroute Jaden Springer and the 2 second-round picks for Kenya Martin Jr. and this current pick, which is 26, I believe?
I think I'm gonna have to turn that one down. I just don't want to overload that backcourt. Don't want to start taking minutes away from people like Ty or Jalen or KPJ.
How about this?
Is Christian Wood available?
Christian Wood is on the Mavericks.
Oh, yeah, he's on the Mavericks now.
Oh, snap. I forgot. Yeah. I totally forgot. Wait, who had the Mavericks?
I'll tell you who didn't forget. People in Houston. They're throwing parades down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about this? Okay.
Hey, I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm
30 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Do you want Thanasis?
We take Patrick Baldwin Jr.
I'm gonna say Giannis would leave, but Patrick Baldwin Jr.
Patrick Baldwin
is the
Jr.
pick.
Woo.
Oh, I gotta go a long way down for this one.
Does the Houston Rockets want
Woo.
Ben Simmons?
Yeah, they do.
Did I pass him? I had a
He's
pass
number
him,
30.
right?
He's number
I
30.
think he was
Oh, there
30.
he is.
Yeah.
But wait, hold on. I'll take Ben Simmons. Oh, okay.
But,
Wait, are we trading Ben Simmons for 26? Is that what we're doing here?
I'll take Ben Simmons. I'll take Ben Simmons for 26 in a heartbeat. I'll give you John Wall back.
All right, I'm gonna David Stern this, and I'm gonna veto
John
that trade.
Wall.
That's all right, so we have not distract myself with your foolishness. I don't even know who got Patrick Baldwin Jr. to the Rockets. Okay, none of this Ben Simmons for 26 talk.
Hey man, the Nets here need to do something. They ain't got anyone.
You do
That's our
something
best-
trading Ben Simmons for 26. Is not.
That's a good deal for you, AB. You should have taken it.
I was about to take some of his roster. We need some depth down in Brooklyn. Somewhere Kenyon Martin Jr., some picks, something like try to mix it up a bit down in Brooklyn. We are dying.
Well, you got Deron Sharp you can trade. You know, you have other guys that you can deal. So figure it out.
That was just you know where that came from, Zach.
Oh, I know where that came from, and that's why I had to put the kibosh on it real quick. So. All right, so moving on, 27. Look at that, AB. You're back up as the Spurs.
Jeez. All right. Before I continue, any 27. Anyone interested? Just I just like to hear what's out there. If anyone got anything out there before I go on and make any selections here.
Well, I've been hearing rumblings that Julius Randle would be
not named THT or Julius Randle.
Okay.
Atlanta here. We are potentially interested in this pick. What we just want to see. What is your interest level in John Collins?
For the what pick is this? 20
in general.
Oh, in general,
it would be more than 27. But what is your interest level in John Collins?
I'm interested because also, like I said, the Spurs have a young core, a young team. Definitely looking for some veteran presence somewhere in some room, and it could be a forward spot. Looks like it's not really any centers really out there, but you know the NBA is essentially positionless, essentially. So a lot of small ball lines. So it's definitely a possibility. So what are we talking?
So if we went for John Collins, for Josh Richardson,
okay,
27, and Devin Vassell, what would you say?
All right, let me look at my. Let's see. So you said Josh Richardson, 27, and Vassell. Excuse me. Kendall, Dante. It's like my really own. I mean, you got Romeo Langford, Lonnie Walker. Is there anyone else you're interested in on this?
We're interested in Kendall Johnson, but I don't think you want to have that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I say Josh Richardson. Who's left on the board here? Because I don't need a whole team of just rookies. John Collins. Move home. We're losing some shooting. We don't need shooting. Anyone else? Nothing else before I guess really consider Doug McDermott. Where's Doug McDermott? Let me look at his contract. I don't think he's there too much longer.
He has an extra year than Richardson. So if you want us to take McDermott instead of Richardson, we would be willing to do that.
Okay.
The Lakers would be willing to just send Kendrick Nunn, Stanley Johnson, and cash considerations for the pick as well.
You guys. I like that veteran presence of John Collins. 27, Ross Richardson, and Vassell. That's my shooter, though.
I mean, Doug McDermott's a shooter.
I mean, but I mean, we talk about how long he's been in the league, how many teams he's been on for a reason.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, but because I just like the youngness with Vassell, so I probably hold off with that.
Okay, so one alternative pick from Atlanta instead of Vassell. Okay,
right. Okay.
If we went for, let's do Keita Bates Diop, Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, 27, and an unprotected 2023 pick. What do we think?
So you said Biop, Richardson, McDermott, and the unprotected what?
27 and an unprotected 2023 pick for John Collins.
Mine would likely be which 2023? Because now I got two.
Who's your other pick
from Miami.
For, your 2023 pick. And you can put a top 4 protection on it if you want, if you don't want to do the unprotected.
Let's make it happen.
All right, perfect. John Collins is out of Atlanta at long last. That was an ordeal. The Atlanta Hawks may not have gotten a star back for him like they wanted, but they have a lot of future draft capital. So now at 27 overall, the Atlanta Hawks are going to take the player who will probably best hold value for a potential future trade or could develop if they wanted him to. And that's going to be Kendall Brown is coming to the Atlanta Hawks. So Kendall Brown is now a Hawk. We're now moving on to the 28th pick. Warriors, you are on the clock.
Yeah, the Warriors are pretty happy right now. We could go in 2 different directions. You look at 3 different directions. I mean, you could add a big. Wiseman's durability is definitely a concern. You look at wing depth. Andre Iguodala is a free agent. Otto Porter Jr. is a free agent. Gary Payton. There's definitely a lot of ways that the Warriors could go here because there's some guys available that would really help them. But for me, I'm going backup point guard. Jordan Poole is a backup point, but he's more of a shooting guard. For me, Steph Curry isn't getting any younger, and I think this is terrific value for where the Warriors are selecting. And I will go Kennedy Chandler with this selection. Extremely explosive, really good scorer off the dribble, great shooter, decent defender. I'm pretty sure the Warriors would be happy with this one.
Muted, Zach.
Appreciate you, Sean. Solid pick there. Really good future pick for the Warriors. Definitely a lot of potential for him. Freak athlete, like you said, Chris. So definitely smart pick for the Warriors. And now we move on to the penultimate pick in this draft, number 29, which is now owned by the New Orleans Pelicans. So, Trey, you are on the clock.
Okay, so looking at the board, there are 2 different ways I could go. That's fair, Justin. There are 2 different ways we can go here. One of which is specifically one of the players I see up there I'm pretty high on for where we are in the draft. The other way is the Pelicans would be willing to hear some trade offers for the 29 if anyone had anything they wanted.
Say that again. It broke up a little bit on my end.
Oh, my bad. Just if there's anyone who wants to trade for 29, it's available right now, but the Pelicans do have a player they're interested in.
Okay. So the Pelicans at 29. Got you.
So Charlotte here, we are potentially interested in this pick. What any positional needs that you're looking for? You're looking for future draft compensation. What are we thinking?
Looking more for veteran bench presence type deal. The Pelicans have a great starting 5 now thanks to that 8th pick trade with the Pacers. They're just kind of looking for that depth.
All right. That might take Charlotte out of this pretty quickly, unless you were looking for a backup center.
Funnily enough, that's the one position that we have. We have Hernan Gomez at that position. So,
All right. Well, then Charlotte officially, rescinds their interest.
okay. Then the New Orleans Pelicans are going to select Wendell Moore Jr. out of Duke with the 29th pick.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Just someone who can back up Brandon Ingram, play those,
Sure.
maybe develop into a high level bench player, maybe a low level starter someday, but just someone who could really add something to the team right away.
Tough-nosed defender too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Well, this brings us to the final pick in the draft. It was originally owned by the Suns, then it was traded to the Thunder, then it was traded to the Denver Nuggets. Then the Nuggets, for our purposes, had traded that deal to, I want to say, Dallas. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's right. The Dallas Mavericks have traded the 30th pick to the Denver Nuggets have traded the 30th pick to Dallas for Josh Green and a 2024 and 2028 second round picks. So that means, Justin, you are on the board.
Yeah. So for the last pick of the draft, the Dallas Mavericks will select Jake LaRavia. I think Dallas, we already have an infusion of guards as far as, Luka, whatever, Jalen Brunson. We're going to re-sign him to whatever he wants. We still have Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr. when he comes back. You still have some 3-and-D guys with Dorian Finney-Smith. So I think, LaRavia, he isn't the best defender, but I think he's just a highly skilled player, and he'll fit the roster well. He'll be able to make those extra passes and kind of be some infusion of secondary playmakers when a guy like Dinwiddie is not on the floor or Brunson's on the floor. You can get a guy like him. So I think it's a good value pick. And eventually he'll be taking minutes away from Maxi Kleber, who will now be expendable, as well as David Bertans, because I just don't like him.
The Sixer killer himself.
Yep. Well, that's great. So definitely, I think an absolute steal there, Jake LaRavia, and for Dallas, a great fit too. So
I like that.
That was a long, complicated, and if I could say so, fun ordeal that we just went through, going through 1 through 30, and we appreciate everyone for joining us along for that entire ride, and all the different picks and the trades, the many trades. Definitely a whole new NBA that we're looking at. And if we are somehow, some way able to organize where everyone ended up, we're going to be sure to post what every person individually did. That way you can take a look, see in entirety what each team did, what each person did as the general manager, and take a look and see, who did what, who did how well, and who your favorite was. So thank you so much for everybody joining us today, all the guests. So I do just want to go through just so everyone can find where your work's at. Chris, we ended on you last time. Chris, why don't you go ahead, tell everybody, where can we find your stuff, man?
I run things over there at the Painted Lines. I have 2 podcasts, Sixers and Eagles, called Party on Broad, and then movie TV reviews, the Suit Up Geeks. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Crackpot. Thanks again for having me on, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. No, happy to have you on. Definitely check out so many great scouting videos at again, Twitter handle at Mr. Crockpot. So many great guys. Dalen Terry, who Chris just stole right up from underneath the Sixers tonight. Yeah, no, I know you are. So we'll see if you come back or not. But anyway, Dalen Terry taking a lot of great scouting videos is my point basically that Chris has. So definitely check him out. Check out all his work. And then we definitely want to turn it over next to Donnie. Donnie, where can everybody catch your stuff?
Just Philly Sports Network mainly, and sometimes on callupsbball.com for G League and G League Ignite coverage.
Absolutely. Awesome. And Donna, you just recently spoke to the head coach of the G League Ignite. Is that right?
Yeah, in May, Jason Hart.
Yeah, back in May. Absolutely. So check out Donnie's work with PSN, otherwise with the call up, and check out. We actually did publish some so the conversation Donnie had actually with the head coach of the G League Ignite. So be sure to check that out. AB, why don't you talk to us real quick about what you do, where to find you at?
Yeah, find me on obviously Twitter at only one__AB. Yeah. Also obviously Philly Spurs Network, writing for the Sixers and everything, and also Open Jump Podcast, stream on all podcasting platforms, also visuals on YouTube. Yeah, just follow me, have a good time. Lots of things that go on. Open Jump is about the totality of sports. We do obviously analyze and break down games, but also we touch the other side of sport and fashion and entertainment as well. Lots of interviews, lots of different ventures and things I travel and do, and you get to see. So yeah, man, you can catch me on all those things, and yeah.
Awesome. Why don't we turn to Andy next? Andy, where can the people find your stuff?
Okay, you can also listen to me on the Trail Babblers podcast. You can read me at Philly Sports Network, of course, at Rip City Project for Blazer stuff, and then at NBA Analysis Network for all 28 of the other NBA teams.
Awesome. Fantastic. Definitely check out Andy's work. He's been a fantastic new addition to this PSN team and really hit the ground running. So definitely check out his stuff. Trey, the sharpest of all the people here tonight, where can we find your stuff, man? Where can we follow you on social media, everything such as that?
Twitter is the only social media I'm on right now, so it's at TreyB_PSN, and the only place where I do any writing really is just through PSN. So all my work's there.
Absolutely. Check it out. A lot of great stuff. A free agent piece on TJ Warren, the latest from Trey. So definitely take a look at his work with PSN.
Trey with the GM blazer on. I see you.
Yeah, like looking a little shade and sharp there. So real nice from Trey tonight. Sean, what about you, man? Obviously, you are our lead writer for the Philadelphia 76ers. But what else do you do? Where else can we find your stuff, man?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. You can check out my written work, of course, on Philly Sports Network and Clutch Points as well. Dropped a full first round mock draft on there today, so you can see that too. And then Pick Swap Media, you can check out a couple fun podcasts through there. Me and my co-host James run the Pick Swap podcast on Sixers stuff. We just dropped our top 12 targets for the Sixers at the 23rd pick, so that dropped tonight. Okay. So you can check that out. And yeah, pretty much wherever.
Look at that. Awesome. That's Sean Bernard, our lead Sixers writer. And, of course, my lovely co-host, Justin Crosby. Justin, where can we find you? Where can we find your work?
Yep. So PSN, you can find all my work on PSN as far as my writing. And then, Baseline Scoop. Here with Zach, we talk about all things Sixers, of course, as you know, and NBA stuff as well. So just a pleasure to be a part of this, and I appreciate everybody for joining tonight. This was amazing, and it was chaotic, but it was definitely fun.
Yeah, definitely a trial by fire first run, and it was a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun for us. I hope it was a lot of fun for people watching and listening, and it's a growing experience. We'll try and be better and better every time, as we always do. But I had a blast. I'm going to be flat honest with you. So I hope that the next time the Baseline Scoop comes together is even better, because that'll actually be for Thursday night for the draft. There is going to be a Philly Sports Network live draft show. So be sure to join us there. A lot of the faces that you see tonight will be there that night as well, as we take a look over the entire NBA draft. So not just the Sixers, but of course we will especially focus on the Sixers. We're going to talk about what the latest is with James Harden, what the latest is with Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle, and of course, what happens with the 23rd overall pick. So until then, I'm your host, Zach Ciavolella, at Zach Chavo NBA, and myself and everyone here today, we just hit you with the Baseline Scoop.